Yo, Dragon Ballers, quick break in the video to give a huge shout out to PPG, who is going above and beyond to make our organized play season the best that it can possibly be. I'm here on the PPG event management website. I'm going to link this down in the description, so all you have to do to sign up for any of these events is go down to that link. We have an event in Denver, which is for the Pro Play Tour organized season. Not only are you playing for an invite to the Pro Play Invitational, but you're also playing for $2,000 guaranteed. And if you want to, guys, there is also a Team War event in that same weekend, and Team War is one of the best formats to play. If you haven't played a tournament with your friends, you absolutely have to do it. And then finally, an event that I know for sure that I'll be attending is the Too Many Games convention in Philadelphia. This is actually a regional for the regular Dragon Ball Super organized play season. So again, guys, super huge shout out to PPG. Secondly, this website is so awesomely laid out. All you have to do is go to this website. All these different tabs here will take you to the events you want to sign up for. I hope to see you guys there. Let's get back into the video. Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another Top Cut breakdown video. Today we have 3 events to go over from the second weekend of Ultimate Squad. Pretty exciting stuff. We will get into it, but first, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, there are many ways to do so down in the description. But today, guys, as always, if you guys want to step your game up, get ready for events like this, check out the Patreon down in the description. Not only can you read the competitive articles that I post there, but you can also inquire about coaching if you are interested in that. Anyways, let's get right into things. Alright, so we have the Origins convention that took place over the past course of the week. So you guys might have heard me talk about this several times. I've been advertising for PPG. They really just do host awesome events. They always run super smoothly, and I think that PPG does a lot for the Dragon Ball Super competitive scene. But anyways, we have the first event, which is on a Wednesday, so obviously it's gonna be a lot harder for people to get to. This was 30 players. This past week was a bit on the smaller side in terms of players and attendance, but still, I mean, 3 tournaments of data to pick from, not too bad. Anyways, again, Origins Wednesday Regional, we had 30 players. The top 8 was U7 Goku taking the first place. Second place, we had Goku Black Wish. Shout out to my teammate Jordan, super awesome. Then we had a King Piccolo in 3rd place, a U7 Goku in 4th place, a SSG Goku in 5th, a Sin Shadow in 6th, and then an S4 Vegeta in 7th, and a Green Cooler coming in 8th place. Okay, so since we have many events to talk about, we're not going to go slide by all the different leaders. Instead, we'll kind of just talk about them generally here. So U7 Goku taking the first here, and it was also the most topping deck in this event. Again, only 30 players, not huge, but U7 Goku just definitely showing its power level here. I don't think anyone's really surprised that it won this tournament. It was definitely a little bit underrepresented in the last tournament, at least from what people kind of expected. But yeah, I mean, here makes perfect sense. Goku Black Wish, though, is super interesting. Again, shout out to Jordan. We're gonna have his deck profile here on the channel this week. I'm not sure exactly what day, but Goku Black Wish is in a very interesting position coming off of the Akon regional, because red was a lot less represented than a lot of people expected it to be. And one of Goku Black Wish's biggest problems is red, because your big boss monster is a really strong card. It's got great protection with indestructible. It allows you to access Aegis, draws you cards, rests things down, gets you energy back up. It's a really solid boss monster, even for the 4 energy investment. But red is one of the few types of strategies that can get it off the board by putting its power to 0, right? Most other colors in the game can't really deal with indestructible all that well, except for yellow with like Final Flash and then some sort of removal. That works for sure. But yeah, like yellow and red not being super highly repped last week kind of meant that Goku Black Wish was in a great spot. I know Jordan's really been enjoying the deck. I know he likes playing it. So again, we'll get more in depth on this one when we get his profile here this week. King Piccolo coming in 3rd place. Man, I am so upset this is out of the bag. We're gonna talk about this one for a bit. King Piccolo saw huge hits on the Ultimate Squad ban list. The piano was banned, so that limits King Piccolo's draw power, as well as the Piccolo Jr. Unison going to 1. But the Piccolo Jr. Unison going to 1, while it is definitely annoying, that wasn't the worst hit for King Piccolo, because there's the Mass Sand Unison that is, kind of an easy replacement. It's not perfect, obviously. I mean, yes, your symbols don't always have an activate main live when you have that unison on the board, but it's still a 2-cost unison that draws cards. And yes, piano being hit does lead to less draw power for King Piccolo, but when you break it down simply, King Piccolo still puts out the most battle cards for the least amount of energy. The deck still does that. The deck still fills an aggressive role when aggro took a huge hit on the ban list. And it's very surprising, because King Piccolo was one of the 2 aggressive decks that was hit on that ban list, right? But King Piccolo, while I don't expect it to, be as dominant as it was last format, the deck is still good. And I'm kind of upset that the cat's out of the bag, because I was thinking about taking this as a surprise pick to the Philadelphia event at the end of the month. I still might take it because I still think it's very, very good, and I, definitely want to be playing something aggressive when there's a lot of this like mid-rangey control in the meta. But yeah, this deck is still super, super good. Yeah, not surprised that other people are catching on to it, I guess. But yeah, don't sleep on King Piccolo, guys, even with the hits. Anyways, SSG Goku. Now, I don't know what type of build this was, but last week I was very, very surprised by an Invoker build of SSG Goku. So this could be any number of things, ranging from some sort of blue control deck to, again, another like Invoker red-blue control deck, or even an aggressive SSG Goku deck. This leader is very, very versatile, and now that Soul Striker has received the errata that it got, this leader just seems maybe like the best generic blue leader potentially. Because it has its own inherent self-awakening, it doesn't have to worry about playing cards to do that like Soul Striker now has to worry about. So a little bit unfortunate there, but yeah, this leader seems very, very versatile for good blue card dot deck, or even like red blue. So next up we have Sin. I mean, of course, you expect to see it, not much to say there. SS4 Vegeta, definitely makes sense to see it here. Didn't top last weekend, but I still think SS4 Vegeta is quite possibly the best mono blue deck, if not, one of the top blue decks. So no surprise there for me. And then Green Cooler put up some decent results last weekend, and it's just going to continue to do that this weekend as well. The deck is a very nice contender for green, so I know a lot of green players are very, very happy about that. Now we have the Origins Friday Regional. So there were 2 different regionals at Origins. This one was 50 players, so a bit more attendance, which was nice. We have U7 Goku coming in first place yet again, which is crazy. King Piccolo, once again, do not sleep on it. This deck is very solid. We have Sin Shenron in third place. Shout out to my teammate Eden. Shout out to Mystic TCG, our team sponsor, his store. Definitely check him out down in the description for pre-orders, buying and selling cards. Excellent, excellent store, excellent owner. But yeah, shout out to him for making top with Sin Shenron. Moving on to fourth place, we finally see GT Goku after putting up no top cut results last weekend, which, many people, including myself, think was probably having to do with the Finn deck kind of running around and destroying them. But I mean, one Finn player couldn't have killed all the GT decks, right? So where was it last weekend? I honestly don't really know. But this weekend, GT finally makes an appearance. And if you guys saw the thumbnail of this video, it does win the next event that we'll talk about in just a minute. But yeah, GT, I do think it's very good. I mean, I don't know if people just aren't picking it up yet. Maybe because the set is new and not a lot of new cards have been picked up yet. Maybe now that it's week 2 of the format, maybe we'll see more and more GT, because I do think it's one of the better aggressive decks of the meta. Maybe there's a really bad matchup, though, that I'm not aware of that kind of holds it back, but not that I can tell at least. Anyways, 5th, U7 Goku. So U7 Goku being the most topping deck of this tournament yet again. Then we have Gamma in 6th place. Gamma's a real interesting one, because the more I've tested with Gamma, the more I'm really just of the opinion that it's an aggressive blue deck, and it's not really meant to be a more control-y blue deck. It can play mid-range for sure, because you get 3 free energy back to play during your opponent's turn. But I think you really want to be leaning into the fact that you have a lot of cheap threats that get played out of your energy, as well as a pretty solid 4 energy boss monster. But while you can main deck Turning the Tide pretty well, I don't think you necessarily want to be playing for that, because I think these other, control decks just have a better late game than you do, especially in pre-side best of 1, where, Jiren Survival of the Fittest is definitely a card to consider. 7th place, once again, Green Cooler, and 8th place, Launch. Not exactly sure on the build here, but Launch, I think, is still a solid leader. I mean, it just draws a ton of cards. It's got a, real thriving setting in the combo step. I do think it's very good. This could have been red-green, red-blue-green, red-blue, even Invoker-style launches have done well in the past. So, Launch, very, very versatile leader. If you've enjoyed the deck in the past, definitely recommend trying it out, picking it back up, and putting your own personal spin on it. And the final event we had for this weekend was a tournament in New York that actually played for a God Rare. That's pretty dope. I actually live pretty close to this, and unfortunately, I didn't hear about it. But yeah, it would have been cool to know. Would have been cool to play. But anyways, we had 33 players. We have GT Goku taking the first place here. And if you notice, like, before I go through the rest of them, this top cut is a lot more concentrated, which, it's a New York tournament. It's a very local type of environment. Maybe that's just because the players in that area tend to play certain decks. Who knows, right? But just the fact that there were 2 GT Gokus and 3 Yellow Trunks, it's a very, very big concentration of relatively popular decks. So that's pretty cool there. Then we have 1 Bulma. There is definitely something to Bulma this meta, especially with things slowing down. I mean, you have a lot of really powerful utility cards that you can turn into blockers, as well as some new unisons to play with. I mean, there's already a Vegito Unison of Might, which is a pretty cool one to play in Bulma, but even the new Baby Unison is pretty good in Bulma, to be honest. King Cole just doing what King Cole does. I mean, it's been a solid green deck for a while now. Not overly dominant, not overly popular, but always, a good King Cole player can do well. And then an SS3 reboot. I talked about this last weekend, where I wasn't going to be surprised if a deck like SS3 Reboot was gonna kind of poke its face in this format, because the leader's solid. Things have slowed down. One of SS3's problems was early aggression, because the deck and the leaders don't have the hand size to combat that early in the game. It does take SS3 Reboot a little bit more time to stabilize than other decks, but once it gets stable, just getting the 3 defensive energy every single turn makes it so hard for your opponent to play. So if things are going to continue to slow down, like even this meta looks to be, even though GT won the event, it's still not overly aggressive, I wouldn't say. So if things continue to trend like this, I think that's just a good thing for SS3 Reboot, to be honest. One thing we'll talk about, now that we've talked about all 3 events, no Finn here. Of course, I think Finn winning the regional last weekend was definitely due to Tony's dedication to the deck. I'm sure many other people haven't been putting that kind of time into Finn. If they do, can it be a solid contender in this meta? I think so. I was actually testing Finn a bit myself, and I noticed that the blue matchup can be a little bit difficult because you don't always get the opportunity to absorb their unison because of Godsling Technique Trunks, and in the Gamma deck they have the Android 18 counterplay that just bottom decks your Finn, so that can be somewhat problematic, but some of your boss monsters are still pretty solid against blue, so I don't know, that'll take some time to see. But otherwise, guys, that's my thoughts on this weekend's different tournaments for the second week of Ultimate Squad. Of course, as always, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.